Hello and welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. And I'm still here with Rachel Barrie. And last time we had the 30-year-old. If you didn't watch that, have a look at the channel. There's a Glendronach 30-year-old. And today we're talking about the 40. So 40 years old.
At least.
At least 4 years old, so older than me.
Younger than me, though.
but it was made before you started your whiskey journey.
Yeah, it was distilled before I started my whiskey journey, but I was already born by then.
Yeah.
And I had actually visited the distillery as a child before the first drop of this was distilled. So I do feel that I have some connection to it.
Okay,
you know?
nice. But I think they closed their malting floors in the 70s or something, but we're not reaching into that direction, right?
Yeah, well, there's whiskey from 1978 right through to 1984 in this selection.
Okay, so there's no smokiness in there.
Well, you might get some oak smoke, you never know, but not to my palate.
Okay,
Not to my palate.
40-year whiskeys and only like distant past was smoky, then probably not smoky. But I think like they had parts of smoke back in the days, but I'm not quite sure. So yeah. So is anything like? Can you tell me anything about the 40 or about the box?
Yeah. Well, the box is rosewood, and there are 40 facets on here that represent the at least 40 years old. It sits on a golden plinth here, and when you open it, watch your glass please. I'm just going to open it to show. You can see here it says 2025 edition. So we release 300 bottles of this for the world for the 2025 edition. It's at natural cask strength. So next year we will have a 2026 edition. So for those of you who like to taste any subtle differences year on year, or indeed to collect as well, from year to year, each edition will be different each year. And a different strength as well. This is natural cask strength.
Really massively big.
Yeah, and it tells you the story about it in here as well, so you can read more about it inside the box.
And it's rosewood.
Rosewood.
That must be a big rose tree.
Yeah.
Are they bushes? And roses.
Rosewood. Yeah.
Massive bush. Okay, so back to the bottle.
Back to the bottle. Here we have it, and you can see
that is natural colour.
It's natural colour.
That is
always
some dark,
every drop of Glendronach is natural cask imparted colour. Okay, always.
And it's really, really dark.
It is. It's almost like ebony. You know,
it is.
Or I think I've described it as like black garnet. Because Glendronach always has a little bit of a reddish hue to it, even through the hues of amber and walnut that you can see quite often in mature Glendronach.
43.9%, and you said it's cask strength.
That's natural cask strength.
So
absolutely.
That's a bit.
The Angels have taken a lot of the share, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, 43.9%.
Was it difficult to do that? Did you need to take some casks to reach over 40, or was that no issue?
No, I mean, they were all above 40. There were only 4 casks that have gone into this. So, and 2 from 1978 and 83 and an 84. One was a Pedro Ximénez hogshead, first fill, and then there were 3 second fill Olorosos. So back about 8 years ago, I transferred them from the 4 into 3. Okay. And that was 2 second fill Oloroso, 1 PX, and then another 2 years later into 2 with 1 PX first fill and a second fill Oloroso, and then bottled it as one.
Okay. If you like recask them, is it a huge step for the whiskey? Does it change it a lot?
It's really a way of elevating it, I would say, and it's not overpowering it just with first fill. So it's combining the casks from 1978, 83 and 84 in an assemblage, and then elevating the assemblage through transferring into first fill PX, but also second fill Oloroso, so that the wood never dominates. It gets the perfect balance between richness, velvety texture, and refinement and silky texture.
So
That's the goal.
Yeah, I mean, you have a lot of experience with that kind of whiskey creation and all that kind of stuff. But is that still something when you re-rack these casks that are over 30 years old? Is that something where you're like, oh, is that a nail biter where you say, is that going to turn out good, or do you know what you're doing every time?
Well, I know the quality of wood, obviously, and therefore I can imagine the influence of the marriage, the influence of the first fill Pedro Ximénez, the influence of a second fill Oloroso, carefully selected, and how to keep that richness and that refinement in balance. So obviously every year I have to check in on the cask. So, just a small amount, a small sample from each cask, and you can then, pick up the direction of travel and know exactly when it reaches that sweet spot of that perfect, that ultimate, the pinnacle of sherry cask excellence.
Okay, very nice. And I'm really excited. Let's try it.
Okay, let's try it. So I'm excited for you to try this. Obviously, there's only 300 bottles for the world, so it's extremely rare. Not sure how many there are for Germany.
Yeah, there's rare. I mean, the price will also be quite high.
Well, it's interesting because if anyone looks at the price of Glendronach, they'll know there are competitors for the similar product that's 4 times as much.
Yes, the prices with Glendronach are not that bad. I mean, but find a whiskey that is not some very, very cheap grain that's 40 years old and has...
This is exceptional quality. So you're looking at the pinnacle of sherry cask indulgence. Okay, the richest Spanish oak that is giving you velvet, silk, tannins, richness, and refinement all at the same time. So
this is the 2025 version that we are trying. You think the 2026 version will be a lot different, or is it?
It will be a subtle difference. It will be a lot different. It will obviously, the natural cask strength be slightly different as well, because every time we do this, it's a selection, and then what it is what it is for cask strength. When it's
but it's going to be a similar style, but with the usual batch differences. Okay,
absolutely. But always aiming for this rich refinement, this balance in the 40 years old, which I think is there's nothing like it.
We'll find it out.
Well, I mean, this is a more how would I say, it has that refinement of age.
I was overwhelmed with the 30, how mature it was. This is mature.
This is more mature. And the beauty of the balance is, that nothing dominates. You just get this integration of this ultimate sherry cask elixir that you almost cannot separate the elements of it. It's like, for me, it's like the most dark brambles, because of course Glendronach means Valley of the Brambles. So this is the ultimate expression of the Valley of the Brambles. Very, very true to the Glendronach style. The very dark fruit, the blackberries, the black cherries.
Black cherries,
dark chocolate, like the finest dark chocolate you have never even tasted yet. Yeah,
for me it comes over with the cherries. I don't know what they were kind of French cherries, like Vignacino or Maraschino. They come over strong with a lot of, like a bit of a grapey note, a lot of dark chocolate coming through. A bit of nuttiness, a lot less than the 30. Yeah. Was there also the Amontillado there?
No, this is just the influence of the first fill Pedro Ximénez. The first fill Pedro Ximénez cask, which is the backbone of Glendronach. Because remember, Glendronach with its dark fruit character, Tal de Brombeeren, Valley of the Brambles. You know, that's why Pedro Ximénez works so well. But always keeping it in balance. So it's good to have a second fill Oloroso in there, element of that, which keeps that refinement, you know, that keep the balance just right till it gets to perfection.
Yeah, I do like it. I'm really excited about how sweet the PX is still coming through with the amount of years it has in there, the amount of oak it picks up.
Yeah.
And they also, as in the 30-year-old, we have the European oak.
Yeah, the Spanish oak.
The Spanish oak, yeah.
So when I source the sherry casks, I'm looking for Spanish oak because it's the best. It has a duality. It's a hybrid of two species. And it has tannins, but the tannins, the way that the cask, the species is open structure, allows the oxidation to break the tannins down into top note complexity as well.
Yeah.
So you get richness and refinement
I've
together.
learned a lot about European oak. It's very, very different from where you get what. So I was always like, okay, European wood heavier than American oak. No, it depends on where you get it from.
It does. You know, there are subspecies, there are hybrids in different geographies of Europe as well.
So yeah, pleasure.
Cheers, Slanjava.
Oh, that is massive in volume. It really has a lot. But it's you do have some peaks of sweetness, but it's a lot more. You have dark chocolate, you have the cherries, and a little bit of nuttiness, but a lot less than the 30. But you have so much complexity I can't put my finger on. Some really oaky notes to it with. And some sweet notes. They are also a little bit Mandarin, but something else as well.
Yeah, I mean, it has the refinement of age, you know, which lifts on your palate more. You know, it lifts and it lengthens, and it's seamless. I think, you know, that's why it's quite difficult to dissect because it is like it's polished.
Yeah.
You know, and that is the representation of the marriage that then is elevated during this process to get to this pinnacle of complexity.
Yeah, the thing is, again, like in the 30, you'd have to spend usually an evening of sipping and trying it, nosing it, discussing it with your friends to really appreciate what you have in the glass here. This is more of like a show of tasting to show you what is available on the market and a bit the direction that it is going. But to find all the nuances, you need hours and hours because this is hyper complex.
Absolutely, and you know, with time, the beauty of Glendronach, and in my opinion, the beauty of the finest single malt is that when it is in your glass and you maybe leave it, if you have it in and you're going to leave it, you want to drink and want to leave, and you come back to it, it just gets more and more and more and more complex, more aromatic, more beautiful even, you know, which is the sign of the best single malt, in my view.
Yeah, I love it. And yeah, it is really expensive, but it is really, really good. Yeah.
It's,
well
you know, it's, thank you. And I think it's a reasonable price for the most exquisite single malt.
Yeah,
at 40 years old.
The thing is...
but there's only 300 bottles for the world, so, you know, it's very rare. And there's very little whiskey. You know, we've not even talked about this. You know, if you think about it, in the Scotch industry in the 80s, there's very little whiskey left from the 80s because that's when there was very little distilled in the world of single malt, you know?
Yeah, I think the 80s and 90s, that was when still, I think the 80s was still with a lot with blend. And then there was that whole changeover where blends were just not anymore, and everybody went into single malt, and nobody knew where it was going really.
Absolutely, that was the end product. But in terms of distillation, distilleries kind of expanded in the 70s, and then produced quite a lot. And then there was a bit of a whiskey leak. And then in the 80s, a lot were mothballed. A lot of distilleries were mothballed. So there are not many 40-year-old single malts on the market for that reason, because there's very little whiskey left from the 80s.
I mean, it's again the age-old story. How long do you need to make this product? 40 years, and the distillation. So
distillation and a little bit of nurturing.
Yeah, but
during the process to make sure that what you deliver in the bottle is the perfect symphony of taste, and that's where the combination of the casks and then a process I would call, élevage, elevating through considered integration of flavour. So that it's never too woody. It's always got that seamless, juicy taste of the dark fruit, and the length. You can tell from the length of the finish and the exquisite nature of the finish, its age.
I think with the finish, it's not hefty long, but it is very long but smooth. You still have all of the flavors in there, but with a lot less volume. I don't know, because it really hits with a lot of volume. I mean, what was it, 43 or something?
43.9 natural cask
This is one of the heftiest 43.9 I've ever tried.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what I love about Glendronach is, even at 40 years old, it's just oozing in fruit, The sherry never dominates. It's like the Brombaeren. It's the ultimate Brombaeren in a glass. It's the valley of the brambles, and the brambles are still there, but in the juiciest, most seamless way with age.
Yeah.
It's just got to this beautiful.
I'm really excited about what you guys are out there thinking about this. Write it down in the comments below, because I think Glendronach has a bit of a reputation for really good whiskey, but due to the closure between, what was it, 95, 2001 or something, it's always a bit hard to get. Now it's getting better, and people really love it, and I guess people will just grab it out of your hand.
Yeah, well, we couldn't have grown before now. Going back even just a year, 2 years, we didn't have enough whiskey to grow Glendronach, and now this is still very, very constrained. But now, like from the 12-year-old, which is what we sell most of, it's about 65% of what we sell. We can start to grow that now.
Yeah.
So from 2012, 2013, that's when there was a little bit of a springboard in whiskey availability for Glendronach, and that's why for the future we have a very bright future, because we've continued to distill since that moment in time.
Yeah, but
with
you
the
never
12
know if the demand triples, then it's not enough.
well, and then you have to, sadly put it on allocation, and like our 18-year-old and 21 years old.
You can never calculate the production for whiskey.
Who's got a crystal ball?
Yeah, who's got a crystal ball?
That's the biggest challenge of them all.
You can just do a good job and bring it out, and people will love it.
Absolutely. But we still have the 18, 21-year-old are very, very revered. And then we have the leap to the 30-year-old, and then the 40. And in between we have what we call our casks of character, where people can still, have access to the single casks from the 1990s as well. But they are getting increasingly rare also.
Okay, so I think we're pretty much done. Or is there anything I missed?
No, I think you've enjoyed the taste. That's the main thing. And you picked up the nuances, which is beautiful. So
there would still be a lot more to pick up here. So thank you very much, Rachel. That was really nice for you to show me these two bottles.
Yeah, absolutely, my pleasure. I hope that your viewers will enjoy tasting Glendronach in the near future, and grab a bottle. Obviously, if you can find a bottle of 40-year-old, I don't know if it's sold out yet, but I think there's not many bottles, obviously, for the world, and the 30-year-old, and there's always the 21, the 18, the 15, and of course the 12.
yeah, have a look at Whisky.com in the shop. You will probably find it there. I'm not quite sure how long because of the allocation. And yeah, have a look at the shop. And thank you very much for watching and see you next time.